Hi, welcome to Youth Yoga. My name is Melissa and I'll be taking you through your classes this semester. To start off, find yourself in a comfortable seated position on your mat. You can have your legs crossed, you can sit with legs extended, or sit on your knees if that's comfortable. Taking a minute to focus on posture. So we're lifting and lengthening through the back and we're extending through the top of the head. Shoulders are relaxed and we've got some space between our rows of teeth. Take a minute to get some nice deep breaths in and out through the nose. Take a minute to notice what your breathing is like today. Is it long and laborious? Is it short and rapid? Is it somewhere in between? Take a minute just to bring that awareness to the way that you're breathing. We're also noticing where we feel like the breath is beginning in the body. Do you feel like you're breathing mainly with your shoulders today, more of a shallow breath? Do you feel like you're breathing more with your nose? Maybe more with your chest? Or maybe you're getting that nice deep belly breath. So take a minute just to check in with yourself and be aware. We're scanning through the body from head to toe, noticing any spots of tightness or tension that we're carrying today. The body is different every single day, so again, we're taking time just to notice as we sit here breathing. After you've had a minute to check in with yourself, we're starting to intentionally deepen the breath. So we're drawing that inhale through the nose all the way down to the base of the belly. So the belly expands as we breathe in, and we're letting the belly soften and relax as we breathe out. We're trying to keep the inhale and the exhale about the same length. And notice how you feel when you get that full, deep, complete breath. We're staying here for 4 more breath cycles and then we'll roll down to our backs. When you're ready, go ahead and bring your feet to the mat. Hands come behind the legs, and we're slowly rolling ourselves down onto the mat. Knees are bent, soles of the feet stay in contact with the mat. We've got a little bit of space between the feet, so they're about hips distance apart. Arms are next to the body, palms are down. We're coming into a spinal lift, and we'll be working with our breathing pattern. So start by drawing an inhale through the nose. As we breathe out, we ground into the feet. We start to peel the tailbone up, then the low back, the mid back, lifting up as high as we can come. Once you're at the top of that lift, hold it for 2 breaths. And then slowly make your way back down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Once the entire back is in contact with the mat, start that same pattern again. Take a breath in. Good. Exhale, press into the feet. Start to peel the back. Once you're at the top of your lift, pause here. And slowly working the way back down. This is a very slow, controlled move. Keep that same pattern going, working with the breath. We're strengthening the hamstrings, the glutes, and the low back. So we're strengthening the entire back line of the body. And we're stretching and opening through the quads and the hip flexors. Moving at your own perfect pace. We've got 3 more lifts. Again, slight pause at the top. Working the way back down with control. Feeling those hamstrings a lot at this point. And 2 more. Press into the feet, hold the lift. Slowly settling back down to the mat. And final time. Take a deep breath in. Good. Exhale, press. Pausing at the top of the lift. And here we go, making our way back down. Nice and slow. Once your tailbone is in contact with the mat, pull your feet up. We're resting the hands on the shins. We're pointing the toes and flexing the feet. Pointing and flexing. We're strengthening the shins and the calves. Good, 4 more. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. We're extending the legs all the way up into a candlestick. Toes are pointed. The entire back is in contact with the mat. So if we have a neutral spine or a relaxed spine, the spine has a natural curve to it. So we would have space between the low back and the mat. We've activated the core, so we should not have any space between the low back and the mat. So make sure that your entire spine is firmly pressed down into the mat. Arms are next to the body, toes are pointed, and we're starting just a simple crisscross. Bringing one foot to the front and then the other. We want a nice tight circle, so we're not opening the feet very wide. Last 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep that crisscross going. We're going to lower the legs about halfway down and then crisscross the way back up. Same thing with the spine here. The entire back should be pressed into the mat. If you feel like your low back is going to pop up off the mat, that's where we pause. So we would stop our range of motion there. So the entire back stays firmly planted. We've got 3 more sets. Good, 2 more. And last one. Crisscrossing our way back up, bend the knees. You can stay laying this way. I'm going to flip around so that you can see what my legs and my feet are doing. So if you want to flip, you can, or simply stay on your mat like you are. We've got our knees drawn into the ribs, arms are open to a T, palms are down. Both knees stay bent, and we're just going to twist from side to side. So the knees drop off to the right and then to the left. Just warming up a little bit. We'll be adding a kick in just a minute. The upper body stays nice and quiet. Shoulder blades stay pressed firmly into the mat. Good, 2 more. Now we add a leg extension. Bend the knees, cross to the other side, extend. Bend the knees, cross, extend. You can always skip this extension if you're taking care of your hamstrings today. Another option would be just to kick the top leg. So here's a third choice. Good, we've got a couple more on each side. We're working the transverse abdominals. Good, last set. Draw those knees back in, getting 2 to 3 breaths. Nicely done. The arms open back out to a T. We're kicking the feet back up to a candlestick. Toes are pointed. We're opening the feet. And then we flex or straighten the feet and close the feet. Point the toes, open, flex the feet, and close. Working the inner thigh, keeping the back pressed into the mat. We're also getting some core work here. We've got 5 more. Good, last 3. 2 and 1. Nice job. Draw those knees in. Get a couple nice deep breaths. All right, arms open back out to a T. The legs come back up to a candlestick. We're opening the feet. We're dropping the right leg off to the side. The left leg slowly follows. Closing the left foot on top of the right foot. The top foot will always fall short. So get a little bit of a rotation and a twist through the hips so the sides of the feet line up. And then point the left toes, sending that foot up and over. The right leg slowly follows. Bring the right foot on top of the left foot. Shift the hips, line up the sides of the feet. Push down into the right shoulder blade. And then we sweep back up and over. Once the left foot comes into contact with the right foot, intentionally push into the left shoulder blade. We've got 1 more on each side. Twist through the hips, line up the sides of the feet, and then draw those knees into the ribs. We're getting ready to come up to a tabletop. So go ahead and roll over. Pressing up to a tabletop. And we'll take a rest in child's pose. So the knees are open wide. We're extending the arms out. The forehead comes down to the mat. We'll be staying here for 6 to 8 breath cycles. Getting a nice deep breath in and out through the nose. Taking time to rest. Three to 4 more deep breaths. Rest is always welcome in a yoga practice, so if you'd like to stay in child's pose for a few more breaths, feel free to do that and catch up at any time. If you're ready to move on, we're into a quick tabletop. From a tabletop, tucking the toes, sending that tailbone straight up into a down dog. We'll stay here for a couple breaths. Getting a slight bend in both knees. We're walking the feet forward. Taking a deep breath in, send the arms all the way up. And then breathing out, dropping the arms down. Good, we're turning to the long side of the mat for a chair flow. So we've got a little bit of space between the feet. Circle sweep the arms up, palms come together. Exhale, bending the knees, settling the hips back. Palms come in toward the heart center. Grounding into the feet, breathing in, sweep back up. Good, exhale into chair. Staying connected with the breath. So move at the pace that you're breathing. Inhaling as we stand, exhaling as we find a chair. We're strengthening the legs and the low back. We're getting flexibility in the shoulders. Flexible shoulders help with good posture. We're keeping our knees stacked directly on top of the ankles. So I'm going to turn to the side for just a minute so you can see my knees. So we want to be sure that our chair flow does not look like this. This puts a lot of strain on the ankles, the hips, the knees. If you notice how far forward my knees are coming. So it should look like this. We've got 3 more. Good, breathing in and exhaling. And last one. Good, we're keeping the low body in a chair. We're separating the hands, reaching behind the tailbone, interlacing the fingers, and drawing the shoulder blades towards each other. We're keeping length in the neck, staying grounded through the feet and the legs. 3 deep breaths. Keeping the arms and hands just like they are, we straighten the knees and drop down into a forward fold with a chest expansion. The shoulder blades draw together, the elbows draw towards each other. We're sinking into the heels, lifting up through the legs and the sitting bones. When you're ready, unlace your hands, let them fall down towards your mat, and take a minute to nod and shake the head. Good, soften the knees, reverse swan dive back up, deep breath in, and then exhale, dropping those arms down. We're into a warrior 2. The right foot is in the front, the left foot is in the back. Hips are turned to the long portion of the mat. The knee is pointing toward the middle toes. Shoulders line up over the hips, and we're extending the arms out, looking over the front fingertips. Anytime we're in a warrior pose, we want to be sure that we're not simply standing. We want to activate. So reach your right arm forward like you're trying to touch something in front of you. At the same time, reach the left arm to the back like you're trying to touch something behind you. Lift and extend through the head, from the hips down, ground or sink. So the body is moving in 4 different directions. Two to 3 more breaths. We're unbending our front knee, reaching the arm forward. Then the right arm drops down, the left arm open. Shoulders are stacked. If your hamstrings are tight, you can keep a little bend in the front knee. That's not a misalignment. Otherwise, do your best to keep those legs straight. On your next exhale, we're taking that top hand, spinning it down toward the front leg, and then we're breathing in and opening. Good. One more time. Breathe out, close. Breathe in, open. Bending the front knee, come back up to a warrior two. Nicely done. Drop those arms down. Turn to the back of your mat. So we're into a warrior two, facing the back. Same alignment tips here. Staying with a deep, stable breath. Unbending that front knee, shift through the spine, reach the arm to the front, then down to the leg. The top arm extends like we're trying to touch the ceiling. We can look up, down, or to the side. Pushing into the outer edge of the back foot to keep the ankle from rolling inward. Here's our breath out. Drop the arm down, turn. Breathing in, opening and expanding. Good. One more time. Exhale. And breathing in, lift. Good. Bend the front knee. Come back up to your warrior two. Dropping the arms down, we're turning all the way to the long portion of the mat. Feet are wide. We're hinging at the hip. The back stays straight. Hands come down to the ground. We're taking the opposite hand to the opposite ankle. So I'll be taking my left hand, reaching it towards my right ankle. My right arm is spinning up and open. We're dropping and sinking through that bottom shoulder and twisting and opening through the top shoulder. Stretching hamstrings, calves, and shoulders. Good. Turning back to center, we're doing that same thing on the opposite side. Reaching across to the opposite foot. Twisting open. Two deep breaths. Good. Turn back to center. We're walking the hands forward like we would in a down dog, lowering the ears next to the arms. Again, pushing into the outer edges of those feet. One more deep breath. Good, we're walking our hands back to center, getting a little bend in both knees. Come up nice and slow. Breathe. And we're all the way back up, turning to the top of the mat. We're into a high lunge. The right foot is in the front. The left foot is in the back. Arms circle sweep up, palms face each other, the shoulder blades anchor down. We've got a good bend in that front knee, and we're lengthening into the back leg. We've got about 3 breaths here, and we'll come to a balancing airplane. We're shifting our weight to the front foot, dropping the arms down, and then lifting the back leg. Toes are pointed. Palms can be up, down, or sideways. So the body is shaped like a capital letter T. If you fall out of it, get right back into it. Bending that front knee, place the back leg down. Circle sweep the arms up with an inhale. Switching to a pyramid, we're straightening out the front leg. The arms reach to the side, the ribs lead the way. Hands come down, framing the front foot or resting on the shin. The right hip pushes to the back, and we invite the left hip forward slightly. We've got a little tuck in the chin. Bending that front knee, we press back up to center. The arms stay relaxed. The left foot comes to the front. The right foot steps to the back. Breathing in. Circle sweeping the arms up. Hips are squared to the top of the mat. The feet are on 2 separate tracks. All 10 toes point to the front. Getting ready for our balancing airplane. You can always change it to standing split. If you fall out of it, just bring your hands down and extend the back leg up. Good, bending that front knee. Place the back foot down, arms sweep back up. Couple breaths here, and we're down for a pyramid. Unbending the front knee, reach to the side, lead with the ribs. Settling into a pyramid pose. Shifting the hips. Good, bending the front knee. Circle sweep those arms back up. And relax the arms. Good, step to the top of the mat, returning to the long side. Hands are coming to the hips for a simple calf raise. So we've got a little bit of space between the feet. Shoulders are relaxed. Lifting and lengthening through the spine, tightening up through the core. We're bringing the heels up and down. Lift and lower. Coming up as high as we comfortably can. Really focusing on building strength and muscle into the calves. Staying zipped up through the core. We've got 6 more. Last 4. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to be pulsing for 12. So we're up on the tiptoes, just moving those heels without ever completely touching the mat. We're doing 12 total. Hands are at the hips. Here we go. 12, 11, 10. 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Turn back to the top of the mat. Take a deep breath in. Circle sweep the arms up. Exhaling to a down dog. Getting ready to rest in child's pose. So we're stepping both feet back. And then the knees come down to the mat. And we're sinking down into a child's pose. We'll be staying here again for 6 to 8 breath cycles, resting, relaxing, and reconnecting with our breathing. If your arms are not already extended, go ahead and reach both arms to the top of the mat, and we're walking the hands over to one side, getting a stretching and an opening through the opposite side of the ribs. You can even rest your hand on your arm if that's comfortable. And then walk those hands back to center, traveling over to the other side, opening and expanding through the side of the body. Good, coming back to center. Go ahead and bring yourself back up. We're gonna come to some work for the upper body, specifically working with a plank. A plank is probably one of the most easily misaligned poses in yoga. A misaligned pose presents the opportunity for injury. So I'm just gonna do a quick review of a plank. There's always an option to do a kneeling plank instead. So don't ever feel like you have to do a full plank if you don't feel like it. Once we're in a high plank, we're bringing those knees up off the ground. A few common misalignments is the banana back. So if you see me from the side, you can see how much pressure is on my low back. Another common misalignment is a partial down dog. So this right here is putting strain and pressure on my neck and my shoulders. Another common misalignment is to have the spine lined up, but we drop the head and look under the belly, or we crane the neck up. So to do a nice high plank, shoulders are over the wrists, the back is nice and straight, and we're looking down to the space between the thumbs. Another option is to be in a tabletop and push the hips forward. So here is a kneeling plank. So this is an option too. Another thing that we want to be aware of is our elbows. If you're like me, I'm pretty double jointed in my elbows. So if you watch, when I'm in a tabletop or in a plank, the crease of my elbows tend to shine forward. These are sometimes referred to as the eyes of the elbows. We actually want to rotate through the shoulders so that the eyes of the elbows are looking at each other. So watch the difference. Here's a misalignment. The eyes of my elbows are looking forward. We want to soften the elbows and rotate them in so that they're looking at each other. So that's something else to keep in mind. It just depends on your anatomy, like I said, if you're double jointed or not. So we're beginning in a down dog. Taking the hands, we're walking towards the feet. Circle sweep the arms up. We're at the back of the mat. Exhale, swan diving forward. Taking the hands, we walk out to a high plank or to a kneeling plank. Straighten out the spine. Line up those elbows. Stay here for 2 breaths. Send the tailbone back up to a down dog. Walk the hands back towards the feet. Soften the knees, breathe in, come up. Breathe out, diving back down. We're doing that same thing again. Hands walk out. High plank or a kneeling plank. Pausing here. Good, tailbone sends up. Hands walk to the feet. We've got 2 more. Getting really good strength work for the upper body. Good, we've got 1 more. Deep breath in, circle, sweep the arms up. Exhale, swan diving forward. Last time, walking those hands out to your high plank or your kneeling plank. Good, down dog. Hands walk toward the feet. And circle sweep up. Staying upright, go ahead and breathe out, dropping those hands down. We're coming back to the center of the mat, turning to the long portion. We'll be moving into a tree balance. So find your way to one side, resting the foot anywhere except the knee joint. And we're doing whatever feels good to the shoulders today for the arms. Arms can be up, they can be in a goalpost, They can extend out. They can be in at the heart center, or you can wrap your hands around, palms come together, point your fingers up your back. 3 deep breaths. Good, stepping out of that, switch sides. Taking your time, feeling stability first. Stability before mobility. Good thing to remember. The knee and the hip relax, open to the side. Two breaths. Good, plant that foot down. We're back into a chair flow. Sweep the arms up and exhale. Lifting and lowering. Breathing in, breathing out. Arm sweep, and then a hinge at the hip. We've got 10 more. Firing up those legs. Good. Last 6. Here's 4. Good, 3. 2. And last 1. We're staying down at the bottom of that chair, holding for a couple breaths, and then we'll be pulsing for 12. Here's a 12 count. 12, 11, 10. Three, 2, stay down on 1 again. Couple breaths here. And make your way back up. Returning back to the top of the mat for a back leg lift. So we're shifting our weight to one side, hands come at the hips, and we hinge forward. Important to hinge forward. If we stay upright and do a back leg kick, we compress the lumbar spine. So we're lengthening the back by hinging forward. Shift your weight to one side. The back toes point, lift, tap. Lift, tap. Shoulders push down away from the ears. And we're not splaying that hip open to the side. The 2 hip bones shine down to the mat. Five more. Here's 2. And 1. Nice job. Stand up, shake it out a little bit if you need to. Same thing on the other side. Hinge forward first. Shift your weight to your other leg. Step the toes to the back. Lift, tap. Lift, tap. Building strength into the glutes. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, plant that foot down, circle sweep the arms up, palms come together. We're coming to a back bend, so take your mid back, push it forward, lifting the collarbones up toward the ceiling. Knees are straight but soft. We're doing a shallow breath, breathing just into the top of the ribs. Coming to center, exhale, swan dive. Resting in a forward fold. Once we're in that forward fold, we're bending one knee and then the other. Almost like a walking motion. We can have our hands on the shins, on the mat, or maybe we're staying up a little bit higher today. Good, bring those feet to stillness, bending both knees, lowering the tailbone down toward the mat, and then straightening the knees. Then again, bend the knees, lower the tailbone, and straighten. We're still keeping those knees basically lined up on top of the ankles. Good, 2 more. We're back into a forward fold and we drop into a tabletop. Getting ready for a kneeling lunge. So we're coming up to kneeling. The right foot comes forward. Hands are at the hips. We've got our hips stacked over the knee. The knee is stacked over the ankle. Shoulders are over the hips. Now we walk that front foot forward slightly and press the hips forward. So we're getting a big opening through the hip flexor and the psoas. Shoulders stay down and relaxed. Good, line the hips back up on top of the knee. Both hands come to the inside of the front foot. We're turning the foot open on its side, just like you would open a book. Warming up the hip and the knee for a lizard stretch. Good, turn the sole of the foot back onto the mat, plant into your hands in your front foot, extend the back leg out, hips and tailbone point down. We're checking the front knee. It should line up on top of the ankle. If the knee is coming forward, we simply need to lift the tailbone a little bit to line back up. 4 to 5 breaths here. Lifting the tailbone, we're straightening out the front leg. We've got one hand on the outside of each leg, or we can be up high. So here's another option. Stretching and lengthening the hamstring. Good, we're bending our front knee to loosen the pose. Come back into a tabletop. The left foot steps forward. We're into that kneeling lunge. Arms can be extended up or at your hips. Start to walk the left foot forward, pushing the hips. So we're into almost a miniature lunge here, pressing those hips forward. Shoulders stay relaxed. 3 breaths. Line the hips back up over the knee. Hands come to the inside of that front foot. Turn it open onto its side. Closing the sole of the foot, plant into your hands and your front foot, extend the back leg. Tailbone and hips point down. Check your front knee. So 3 to 4 more breaths. Good, lift that tailbone, straightening out the front leg. One hand is to the outside, one hand is to the inside. Heel is down, toes point up. Good. Bending that front knee. We'll take a rest in child's pose. We're staying here for 6 to 8 breath cycles. Four more deep breaths. When you're ready, press yourself back up and we're rolling down onto our backs. Pulling those knees in, maybe rocking back and forth from side to side, getting a little massage for the low back. We're extending our right leg down onto the mat. The left knee draws up into the ribs. Opening those arms out to a T or a goalpost. We're crossing the left knee up and over to the right side of the body. So the left hip stacks directly on top of the right hip. Not important that your foot or your knee touch the other side. We're simply lining up the left hip and the right hip. The left shoulder blade presses down into the mat. Three more breaths. Good, coming back to center. The left leg extends, the right knee draws up. Pausing here for a couple breaths. Same thing on this side. Arms open out to a T or a goalpost. Cross a bent knee up and over. Right hip is on top of the left hip, and the right shoulder blade sinks down into the mat. Three more breaths. Good, back to center, knees are bent, soles of the feet are on the mat. We've got that same spinal lift that we did in the warm-up. We're doing two as we're cooling down. So hands are next to the body. Take a deep breath in. Breathing out, press into the feet, start to peel the back up. Once you're at the top of that lift, pause. And slowly, with control, work your way back down. Good, one final time, lifting. Pausing at the top of the lift. And make your way back down. Good, we're extending the legs all the way down onto the mat. Arms are next to the body, the palms flip open. Get a few nice deep breaths in and out through the nose. And then start to slowly even out the inhale and the exhale. Choosing a count that's comfortable for you. Maybe your breathing pattern today is around a 3 count. Maybe it's more like a 5 or a 7. So find a pace that's good for you. Breathe in. Pretend, say you're counting to 4. Breathe in for 4. And then right away exhale for 4. Stay with that same count, that equal ratio breath. Going through 3 to 4 cycles. And then we shift right into our final relaxation, staying here somewhere between 7 and 10 minutes. You can close your eyes if you're comfortable. letting go of any tightness or tension in the muscles. The ground completely supports the body. So allow yourself just to sink down, relax, and breathe deeply. Thank you.